Good afternoon, everyone. Here I'm back. Guraju here from KP classes. So let's discuss the part 3 of NET June 2022 paper. So we have divided the entire question paper into 3 division parts. We have done 2 different sections, YouTube live, discussing the first 2 parts of the question paper. Now the last set of questions can be discussed over here. So first question, this is a continuation of yesterday itself. So this is the first question that we have to discuss. Identify the current combinations of ocean circulation theories in column 1 with respect to mechanisms in column 2. So good afternoon, Nirvan. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope the audio and the video, everything is clear for you. So let's continue. So over here they have given 3 different theories of coming under the meteorology atmospheric science part. So the Sverdrup theory, Stommel theory and Monk's theory has been provided over here. Now what you have to find is to understand, just to match with the understand the column 2, which in which they have mentioned the complete mechanism. What is the theory of ocean circulation, not atmospheric science. Okay, ocean circulation has been mentioned over here. Match it with each other. This is what you have to do. So let's read the options and find out the answer. So first one is the theory of Sverdrup theory, friction, Stommel theory and Monk's theory. So they have defined column 2 is friction between the currents and the side walls added to the potential vorticity conservation. Ocean interior meridional flow directions described through a potential vorticity argument. Inclusion of dissipation of potential vorticity to explain westward intensification of western boundary currents. So this is the 4 options that you have to keep in mind. So this is actually kind of easy. Sverdrup theory is about the ocean interior meridional flow directions described through a potential vorticity argument. Meridional flow, there are 2 types of flow: zonal flow and meridional flow. Zonal flow means east-west direction, flow happening parallel to the latitudes. We can say in that way. That kind of flows are called as zonal flows. Meridional flows means north-south direction. Flow takes place in the north-south direction. That is what is called as meridional flow. So the options, right option will be Sverdrup's theory is about ocean interior and meridional flow direction described through a potential vorticity argument. And Stromer's theory is defining the western boundary currents, intensification of western boundary currents in explanations. Whatever Ekman flow is being discussed, much more detailed way they have explained about the western boundary currents. Then Monk's theory is about the friction between the currents and the side walls added to the potential vorticity conservation. So you guys, if you have any doubts about these 3 theories, please read about Sverdrup balance and Sverdrup relation in detail. About the Stommel theory also you will get materials online. You will be understanding what each of the things define. Okay, so here it would be not PU, QV and RT. PU, QV, RT. So this will be the right option. Chalo. Next one, match the Earth Scientist with hypothesis on pediment formation proposed by them. So this is actually very interesting kind of question. You should understand the different scientists that have come up with each of these proposal. So this one, so you should have an idea. AC Lawson, he come up with the parallel retreat of hill front. Then again the W.M. Davis discussed about the erosion by sheet flood and rill wash. G.K. Gilbert over here, he discussed about the lateral planation by streams. Then CR today he discussed about the structurally controlled irregular landscape lowering. So here at scientist with hypothesis on pediment formation is discussed over here. Each theorems, so whatever AC Lawrence have proposed, what are the W Davis proposals of WM Davis, everything that is also you can read more detail, but these kind of questions are very rarely asked. So every year they will ask some questions from recently proposed, recently published papers or questions that are only mentioned in papers. So you will never find any of these terminologies or discussions, descriptions in any textbooks. For example, for geomorphology, this is actually a geomorphology question. For geomorphology, the textbooks that we refer in the standard textbooks also, fundamentals of geomorphology, in any of those standard textbooks, we will not get any details of these terms. These are only associated with the papers that they have proposed in mentioned in the papers only. So you can Google them in detail. You will there are chances that we'll get them in detail. Yeah, I have read that details of each proposals are given in different websites. Now, so there are two particles X and Y on the sea surface. The density of particle X is twice the density of seawater, while Y has the same density as the seawater. If X radius is thrice the radius of Y, which of the following statement is correct? So there are two particles on the sea surface, X and Y. The density of particle X is twice the density of seawater. So guess if density of seawater is P, density of particle X is 2P. Density of particle X is twice the density of seawater, while Y has the same density as the seawater. Y's density is same as seawater density. Which of the following, they have given the relationship of radius also. X radius is thrice the radius of Y. Which of the following statement is correct? So four options are here. Correct option is what you have to choose. Sinking velocity of X is 9 times that of Y. Sinking velocity of X is 3 times that of Y. Sinking velocity of X is 18 times that of Y. X might get deposited in the sediments, but Y will not sink. So this is the option. So can anyone think? So this is actually a very good question. Will if you think a bit, you will be able to answer. So can you please go through the question once? I'll show the question if you require. Simply question is nothing. There are two particles X and Y. One has the density twice the density of seawater. One has the same density of seawater. The radius of X is thrice the radius of Y. That means X particle is much bigger than Y. Thrice the radius of Y. This is the question. And the options are: first option, sinking velocity of X is 9 times. Sinking velocity is settling velocity itself. It's the same. So sinking velocity or the settling velocity of X is 9 times that of Y. Sinking velocity of X is 3 times that of Y. Sinking velocity of X is 18 times that of Y. X might get deposited in the sediment, but Y will not sink. These are the different options. Anybody? Can you guys answer? So okay, I'll explain. See the relationship between universal settling velocity terminology. If I discussed, there are different equations. There are different equations that defines the settling velocity or sinking velocity. There is Yallin's number, Reynolds number defines the settling velocity. So this is actually, if you don't know about the equation, the relationship between radius and the settling velocity, if you don't know, still this is actually a very common sense kind of question. Look at the density. X has higher density than seawater, twice the density than seawater, where Y has same density as the seawater. So more chances is this, no, option number D. X might get deposited in the sediments, but Y will not sink because Y has same velocity as the seawater. So the chances of sinking of Y is much lesser than chances of sinking of X. X has twice the density of seawater. Though the density is higher, X will get deposited, but chances of deposition of Y is not that, like we won't be able to predict that. If there is some changes happen, say, then only, or the surface water's velocity is very low, then in those situations may Y can sink, but it is not sure. So these kind of questions are actually very good. Like you can read those questions and understand. I'll give you, if you want, uh, the Yallin's equation is actually about the, yeah, that is a Reynolds number, like a dimensionless quantity y. This Yallin's number is directly proportional to cube of the diameter of the particle. We consider it as a sphere, and it is inversely proportional to the kinematic viscosity, square of the kinematic viscosity of the fluid. So that defines the settling velocity. So we always consider the particle as a sphere. When it comes to Reynolds number, it is Ws, that is the settling velocity, into diameter divided by Y, that is the kinematic velocity. So there the relationship is different. So you should have an idea. The density difference is much more important. In Yallin's number, actual equation is delta rho. That means density difference between the fluid and the particle. Delta rho into acceleration due to gravity into diameter divided by density of the particle into viscosity. This is the equation for Yallin's number. So it is directly proportional to the diameter of the particle. More larger the diameter, more chances of sinking. But it has to be, there should be a delta rho required. In the case of the second particle Y, delta rho itself is 0. Whereas when it comes to X, delta rho is almost 2. It's twice the density of seawater. Hence delta rho is 2. Hence sinking can always happen to the particle X. For the particle Y, may not sinking, may not happen. I hope it's clear. So let's go for the next question. Anticyclones do not intensify as cyclones because of the absence of latent heating in anticyclones. Of the radius of anticyclones is large. They form over colder water. The relative vorticity and planetary vorticity have opposite sides. These are the four different options. Question is, anticyclones do not intensify as cyclones. So, what is the reason for that? So this is actually, answer is option D. You should know what is relative vorticity and planetary vorticity means. So that is actually, with the help of that, you will be able to answer if you know what is planetary vorticity. So vorticity means, when we discussed about cyclones, there I have mentioned, or when we discussed about cyclone, tropical cyclone, mid latitude cyclone, there we explained about what is vorticity. So this vorticity is, if it is, can be clockwise or counterclockwise spin in either, like different situations in the troposphere. So vorticity is, can be vertical vorticity, also called as vertical vorticity, because spin is in relation to a vertical axis. So that is what is called as vertical vorticity. If the spin is in relation to a horizontal axis, we call it as a horizontal vorticity. So these are the different terminologies. So, and actually answer is this one. Relative vorticity and planetary vorticity has opposite sides. So this is actually important why anticyclones do not intensify. So you can read about the relative vorticity, planetary vorticity, what is anticyclone, what is cyclone. So they are opposite signs. So hence the resultant value will become zero. It becomes nullified. So anticyclones won't be able to grow. Planetary vorticity. So vorticity is the measure of spin of the air mass or fluid, whatever it is. The measure of spin is what we call as vorticity. If it is planetary vorticity means any fluid rotate on the earth because of the earth's rotation. It rotates as the earth's rotation. That is called as planetary vorticity. So relative vorticity means the rotation rate of an ocean water or atmosphere which is different from the earth's rotation. That is relative vorticity. So absolute vorticity is the sum of, or planetary vorticity and relative vorticity summation is called as absolute vorticity. So absolute vorticity in the case of anticyclone become zero or it become nullified because either of the planetary vorticity and relative vorticity is in the opposite signs. One is positive, the other one become negative. Okay, then which one of the following is the correct sequence of Köppen's climate types according to their positions on the globe starting from the equator? So we have discussed in the class in detail about Köppen's classification, climate classification, what the different terminologies that I told you that we can divide the terminologies. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E are there. Those are the first symbols. Then comes the second ones, can be rainforest, monsoon, savanna, etc. And then comes the third. So in this way, there are three letters that defines the each climatic conditions. So over here, they have given the five different types of climate situations. So you just have to positions them on the globe starting from the equator. This is the question. So this is also easy, I guess. If you know what are the different terminologies associated with Köppen's climate classification, what is AF means? AF indicate tropical rainforest. AF indicate tropical rainforest. BSH, it indicates hot semi-arid climate. Then BWH indicate hot desert climate. DFC indicate subarctic climate. TFD indicate extremely cold subarctic climate. So something from globe on the positions of each climate zones on the globe starting from the equator. Obviously it should start from the AF terminology because DFC, it is extremely cold subarctic climate is not existing across equatorial climate. So this is not possible. So option D is anyway wrong. Next one is A, B, C from these three options. Next one should be BSH, hot semi-arid climate. So either of this situation is possible because after this only desert climates start. So this is BSH situation. BSH is hot semi-arid climate. Please revise the Köppen's classification that we have discussed in the class. Which is very important. Every time they ask minimum 4 mark questions, so will always come in the net examination. So at least you should know, like if you know what is each of these words symbols mean, with our common sense we can answer. Yes, Sinul Mondel, the answer should be C. It's not A, it should be C. So BSH is the hot semi-arid climate. Then BWH is the hot desert climate. DFC is the next higher subarctic climate. Then the extremely cold subarctic climate, DFD. So please go through the Köppen's classification once more. Have an idea about each of the terminologies. Velocity of water flowing over sands is higher than the speed of the waves propagated in the flow. Following type of bed forms are likely to, the following types of bed forms are likely to form. So among these four options, which particular bed form will develop? if the velocity of water flowing over sand is higher than the speed of waves propagated. In this particular situation, which particular bed form will be developed? Antidunes, dunes, or mega ripples and lower plain bed. So here this is actually we can imagine like among the terminologies antidunes, dunes or mega ripples, all these landforms we can divide them into two on the basis of the energy situation, on the basis of row number. F greater than 1, F less than 1. F greater than 1, F is equal to 1 is plain bed. When F is greater than 1, it is antidune. F is less than 1 is from ripples to dunes to the cross fittings and everything happen when it is F less than 1. So when energy situation is much higher, when the velocity of water flow over sand is higher than the speed of waves propagated. So when I discuss antidunes in class, I hope you remember that because of this high velocity situations, wave propagated speed is much lower, but velocity of water is higher. Hence the sediments will be migrating towards the upstream direction. Migration of sediment happen. So this is what is called as antidunes. Whereas in any other type of structures, the always the bedding sediments will be migrating towards the direction of downstream direction, or towards the direction of water flow. The migration of sediments takes place, or the cross beddings will be dipping in the downstream direction, whereas in the antidunes, cross beddings will be dipping in the upstream direction. So fluvial system and the structures associated with that is also very important. We have discussed them in detail in the section, so please revise those four parts also. Another geomorphology question: identify the correct karst features or landforms. This is the question. Polges, tors, cockpit and doline. What are tors? Tors are more than 5-meter height hills are what is called as tors. They are not associated with karst topography. Any bedrocks, granite or any kind of hard rocks which are not which are underwent erosions. So hence they will be forming as a hill around a planar area. So those kind of landforms are called as tors. Then cockpit is associated with karst topography. Lines are, we know those are sinkholes, and we know what are polges also. So this option is wrong because tors is not completely a karst topographic feature or landform. Uvalas, Karen, Ponor and polges. All these are Karens are small solution pits. So all of these are actually karst topographic landforms. Karen Bajada is not a karst topography related landform. Tan is not a karst topography related landform. So these two options are wrong. This one is also wrong. Option B is the right answer. This is an easy question. Arrange the following events in the order of increasing age. Younger Dryas, Meghalaya stage, last glacial maximum, H1 Heinrich event. These are different events that are mainly happen. Heinrichian event is taken place during the uh, Pleistocene event when a huge amount of icebergs break off from a glacial sheet and transfers the Hudson Strait into the North America. That situation is what is called as Heinrich event. So this is actually associated with you can say geotectonics or stratigraphy, different major tectonical events or major stratigraphical events that has happened. So if the answer would be C actually, BADC. First one is Meghalayan stage, Younger Dryas, H1 Heinrich, last glacial maximum. That's the order. Next one. Three fossils EC, MC and VT are present in two continents and the following are true. First one is a short temporal first one is short temporal. This EC, MC and VT have short temporal range. VT and MC have hard skeletons. EC, MC and VT live in lakes, grassland and in shallow marine environments respectively. EC is microfossil, MC and VT are megascopic fossils. Which fossil would you choose for correlation purpose? This is the question. Which fossil would you choose for correlation purpose? Three fossils are here, EC, MC, VT, that are representing two different continents. So you just have to correlate one continent from the other continent. So among these three fossils, which one will you choose? So all the three have short temporal range. Then VT, MC have hard skeleton. EC, MC and VT. EC lives in the lakes. MC is associated with the grassland. VT is shallow marine. Shallow marine. EC is microscopic. MC and VT are megascopic fossils. Among these three situations, which one will you choose? EC and MC, VT or MC? EC, MC, C option. D option is only EC. These are the different options. These are the three different situations: EC, VT, EC, MC, and EC. So option EC, MC, VT, EC, and MC are equally good. These are the four options. Which one you will choose? These are the options. Which one will you choose? Anybody? So actually, if I go further, the answer is VT. So what are the why VT is chosen upon MC, EC? So EC, MC, EC and MC are equally good. These are the options. Okay, keep in mind. EC and MC and VT. When you consider EC and MC, one is in the lake environment, other one is grassland. So we know more amount of preservation and everything can happen in the shallow marine environment, which will be less disturbed and everything. So that is one criteria. Then when it comes to VT and MC, they both are having hard skeleton. So EC does not even have a hard skeleton. So we know that if there is a hard skeleton, then only preservation is possible. If there is no hard skeleton, preservation is not possible. Very rarely soft bodied organisms can get preserved. Hence, the entire these EC fossil will be cancelled from this particular situation itself. Now, when it comes over here, MC is present in the grassland situation, so their preservation is not that much highly possible. Sediment supply and everything is much lesser for EC situation in the grassland. Hence, answer is VT. So, these kind of questions, they use a lot of terminologies, EC, MC, VT. Unnecessary terminologies have been used over here. So, you don't need to be confused about the terminologies. Read the questions carefully. Keep your calm and read the question. You will be able to get the answer. You will be able to understand what are they going for. If the absolute vorticity of the flow is conserved, air moving northeastward in the northern hemisphere will turn dash to compensate for dash in the planetary vorticity. This is the question. I'll show you once more. If the absolute vorticity of the flow is, I just mentioned what is absolute vorticity. Absolute vorticity of the flow is conserved. Air moving in the northeastward in the northern hemisphere. Another one, VT hard skeleton and shallow water means above CCD. Yes. Yes, but they have not mentioned they have calcareous shell. They have not mentioned in that way. It can be, they have not mentioned no a calcareous shell and nothing. So there is no implementation of calcium compensation depth over here. Shallow water situation meant the sediment supply will be much more higher. So higher the sediment supply, sudden will be the preservation of fossils. In deep ocean situation, the sediment supply is much lesser than the shallow water conditions. So that is one reason. If they have mentioned about the exoskeleton, if hard skeleton is calcareous or something, then we can, that would be much more easier to interpret. Like if it is a CaCO3 hard cell test, then those organisms are much more preferably preserved in a shallow water condition, because of deep water environment it may be above CCD depth, calcium compensation depth. There the preservation of calcareous exoskeletons not possible. Okay, Nirmal? So over here, the answer is anticyclonal. Anticyclonally will turn anticyclonally to compensate for the increase in the planetary vorticity. So option B is the right answer. They turn anticyclonally to compensate for the increase in the planetary vorticity. Because it is turning to moving northeastward, means planetary vorticity will be much more higher. So to compensate that, it will turn to an anticyclone, where it is the planetary the sign is different. Planetary vorticity and the relative vorticity signs are different. So it will turn to anticyclonally to compensate for the increase in the planetary vorticity. Match the logging tools in the column 1 with their corresponding characteristics in column 2. Lateral log, deep lateral log, long normal log and proximity log. This is also a very direct question. So the answer is D actually. This very easy and direct question. This is associated with geophysics part. So that, though I am not explaining geophysics over here, I am going further ahead. So if you want, I will be discussed the distance. Let's go further. Okay, these are two statements. Statement A, dynamic viscosity coefficient of a liquid increases with increase in temperature. Statement B, dynamic viscosity coefficient of a gas increases with increase in temperature. Which of the following option is correct? Statement A, dynamic viscosity coefficient of a liquid increases with increase in temperature. So statement A is about dynamic viscosity of a liquid increases with increase in temperature. Second statement is about dynamic viscosity coefficient of a gas increases with increase in the temperature. Without going to the options, these are two statements. Obviously, option will be which one are the correct options, which one are the wrong options situation. So over here it is true. Like by looking at the option itself, we know that dynamic viscosity of a liquid will decrease with increase in the temperature. Viscosity decreases with increase in the temperature. So this statement A is wrong. The option B, dynamic viscosity of a gas increases with increase in the temperature. So the right option will be, both statements are no. Statement A is, so option D is the right answer. Statement A is false. Statement B is true. So you should have an idea about what is kinematic viscosity and its detail. You should go learn about or revise about the dynamic viscosity or kinematic viscosity, and equations are important. They can ask numerical questions also from those sections. Absence of which one of the following played a role in preserving soft-bodied organisms of eddy current fauna? Absence of which one of the following played a role in preserving soft-bodied organisms eddy current fauna? So you should, this eddy current fauna is very important for all the competitive exams related to geology. This eddy current fauna is actually a very important terminology. So all the soft-bodied organisms were preserved and that is what we call as ediacaran fauna preservation. So among all these options, oxygen in the atmosphere, stromatolites, acidifying condition, mobile and bioturbation organisms, which one is actually helped in the preservation of soft-bodied organisms of ediacaran, or which absence of which one of the following, not helped, okay, absence of which one of the following played a role in preserving soft-bodied organisms of ediacaran fauna. So we know that during that particular time, this oxygen in the atmosphere is not much, like absence of oxygen in the atmosphere is was not there. Stromatolites were present during the formation of ediacaran fauna. Acidifying conditions were also exist. Better, this is the option. If the organisms were bioturbating or mobile, absence of this particular feature helped in the raw preservation of soft body organisms. If they were, most of the organisms were not mobile. In the ediacaran fauna, most of the organisms were not mobile, and they were not bioturbating also. Bioturbation means the one that leaves the sedimentary deposits were disturbed and living in reworked soils. They live on the reworked soil depositions. That is the bioturbating organ, or bioturbation means reworking of soil by organisms. So if these were not present, because another thing is, if the organism is a soft-bodied organism, for bioturbation and all other things to be taken place, they require a strong exoskeleton. So here those hard exoskeletons are not available also. So this is the property that is absent, or process that is absent, which helped in the preservation of ediacaran fauna. Match the column 1 with column 2. The calcareous ooze, manganese nodules, metal sulfides, phosphorites. Composition or the deposits over here. Locations are mentioned in the second one. Abyssal plain, continental shelf, seafloor above calcium compensation depth, hydrothermal vents. These are the options. So easy question. So it's match the following situation over here. It's easy. Calcareous ooze required, it should be deposited above calcium compensation depth, above CCD, that is for sure. Manganese nodules are associated with abyssal plain, that also we have discussed in the class. Metal sulfides are associated with hydrothermal vents. Phosphorates are associated with continental shelf deposits. Phosphorates are mainly associated with the pellets, the red, like excretions of some kind of plants, or sorry, not plants, birds or animals is mainly associated with phosphorate deposits. So this is actually is an important. So A, G, B, E. This is the answer. So this is actually, if you simply get the first option, calcium compensation depth and calcareous deposit, that itself is more than enough to get the option. So this kind of easy questions would also be there in the exam. Standard for stranded or raised beach deposits, marine shell beds and wave-cut platforms backed by steep cliff-like slopes indicate a fall in sea level, rise in sea level, uplift of land, subsidence of land. These are the four options. So among these four options, which one among the stranded or raised beach? Stranded or raised beach, then marine shelf beds, wave cut platforms backed by steep cliff-like slopes indicate a fall in sea level, rise in sea level, uplift of land, subsidence of land. These are the four options. Fall in sea level, rise in sea level, uplift of land, subsidence of land. Choose the correct option. So we discussed these topics in associated with sequence stratigraphy. So you can look at the sequence stratigraphy part for uh, for revising these sections. So answer is A and or C. This is the answer, A and or C. A means falling sea level, C means uplift of land. Falling sea level or uplift of land, both are the situations which causes a decrease in the accommodation space. So in sequence stratigraphy, we use the term accommodation space, which defines the space present for the deposition of sediments. So over here, if falling sea level drops or upliftment of land happens, in either situation, accommodation space reduces, which hence causes the formation of, like here, marine shelf beds, wave cut platforms backed by steep cliff like slopes. All these things defines a fall in eustatic sea level fall. So that thing is associated with A and C. B and D, rising sea level or subsidence of land increases the accommodation space. So thereby it is actually increase in the eustatic sea level rise. That is what is caused by B and D, which is not associated with any of these features over here. So this is important. You should have an idea about all the what is accommodation space, what is eustatic sea level rise and fall means, the terminologies associated with that. All those things are actually very important. Okay, next one is two different statements. This is actually from geomorphology questions. Statement 1, the Manning roughness coefficient increases as the flow depth increases up to bank full discharge. Once the channel capacity is exceeded, the flow spreads over a much larger area and the Manning's roughness coefficient decreases. So Manning's roughness coefficient is a dimensionless quantity. There is an equation defining Manning's roughness coefficient, and I have explained that in the class also. So they have given the two statements about the Manning's roughness coefficient. So the options are, both statements are incorrect. Statement A is incorrect, but statement B is correct. Statement A is correct, but statement B is incorrect. Both statements are correct. These are the four different options. Let's go back to the statement once. Manning's roughness coefficient decreases as the flow depth increases. It is not directly proportional to each other. It is actually inversely proportional to each other. So it is decreases as the flow depth increases. Once the channel capacity exceeded, the flow spreads over a much larger area and Manning's roughness coefficient increases. This is also when it spreads over, the depth decreases. In that situation, Manning's roughness coefficient increases. So option A is the right answer. Both statements are incorrect. Both statements are incorrect over here. Okay, so please revise the, when we defined about, in geomorphology there were so many equations. Manning's the forgot the terms, all the velocity related equations, stream power, the bifurcation ratios, all those terminologies are very important. Please go revise those terms to understand the definition, so to give the answer. Okay. Choose the correct statement. Ignophacies indicates paleobathymetry. Uh, Ophiomorpha is a horizontal burrow along the bed boundary. Laminae truncate against burrow. Thalassinoids is only produced by crabs. Among the four options, you have to choose the correct statement. So the correct statement is actually this one: laminate truncate truncate against burrow. That is the correct statement that we, among the four different options. Ignophacies cannot indicate paleobathymetry. Ophiomorpha is not a horizontal burrow along the bed boundary, so these are actually associated with the bioturbations or ichnofacies related sections of sedimentology. The biological sedimentary structures actually. Following shear zones occur in the southern granulite, uh, Salem Attur shear zone, Achinkovil shear zone, Palakkad Kaveri shear zone, Karur Kambam Palnavu Tirchur shear zone. You have to choose the correct sequence of shear zones along the south to north traverse. So Salem Attur shear zone, Achinkovil shear zone, Palakkad Kaveri shear zone, Karur Kambam, Palnavu Tirchur shear zone. These are the four options. Can anybody answer? Following shear zone occur in southern Nepal. So Achinkovil shear zone is the most southernmost part. Achinkovil shear zone. So option C and D are wrong. Then comes the two KKPT SA ZS. Karur Kambam and Salem. Karur Kambam Palnavu Trichur shear zone is the next one. Followed with Achinkovil. So this one is the next option. Then comes the Salem Attur. This situation will be coming. Then the last one, sorry, the next one is PCS, it's this Palakkad Kaveri. Then after that comes the Salem Attur shear zone. So the right answer for this question is this option, option B. Sorry, option A. This is the right option answer. Achenkovil, then Karur Kambam shear zone, then Palakkad Kaveri shear zone, then Salem shear zone. This is the option. So if you know the normal geography of southern India, then also you will be able to answer the order of each places. Next, benthic fauna plays important functional role in bioturbation. Oxygenic photoautotrophs synthesize chlorophylls and carotenoids. Choose the correct answer. So, benthic fauna plays important functional role in bioturbation. So, you know what is benthic fauna. So, the statement A itself is correct. Statement B. Oxygenic photoautotrophs synthesize chlorophylls and carotenoids. This is statement B. So, what is the answer? This is a very easy question. Please answer. Please answer this question. Both the statements are correct, right? Because benthic infauna means the one that is benthic means bottom dwellers, and infauna means they penetrate into the sea floor and live over there. So those are the important functional role in bioturbation. Next one is oxygenic phototrophs synthesis chlorophylls and carotenoids. So both the statements are correct. So the next question. Ocean takes up significant amount of anthropogenic carbon dioxide. What is the primary reason behind this? Oxygen takes up the maximum significant amount of anthropogenic carbon dioxide. What is the primary reason behind this? Please go through the options. Phytoplankton consumes carbon dioxide during photosynthesis in the surface ocean. Increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide, partial pressure of CO2 leads to more dissolution of carbon dioxide. Those who have attended my section of calcium carbonate formation and its relationship with the concentration of carbon dioxide, this would be the chance of giving me an answer. Which is the right answer? Guys, Akash, Nirvan, Sainul, you guys, whoever have joined and replying, please reply to this answer. Increased sedimentation leads to more carbon dioxide sequestration. Zooplankton grazing has increased over time. It's very easy. Answer is this. When atmospheric pressure, carbon dioxide content increases, that will leads to more dissolution because equilibrium disbalance happens. So what will take when equilibrium disbalance takes place? It require to more the forward and reverse reactions. Remember, carbon dioxide will dissolve in water to form bicarbonate and carbonic acid. Those H2CO3, HCO3 minus CO3 minus 2 minus terminologies, that entire equation I was given. So that buffer equation I forgot only. Buffer solution equation, that is very important. Every time minimum 2 4 mark question. A single question will be coming from that exam. So yes, dissolution of calcium carbon CSO3. So what happens is when sometimes they'll ask about CSO3 relationship with carbon dioxide. Sometimes they simply ask about, they will not relate it with calcium carbonate. So this is very important and very easy. So please remember, revise the sections. Let's discuss the rest of the questions tomorrow then. So I hope you guys are following. Not tomorrow, we'll have a section day after tomorrow. So in day after tomorrow will be the last part for June 2022 Earth Science paper. So we'll conduct a lengthier section, live section in the next part. I'll update you all. So if you want more updation about the live section, you can subscribe our channel. So you will get to know when we'll be coming up with the next live section. My students will be getting updated with the links in KP Gate app. So those who require to know about the mock test or our courses that we provide, you can download the KP Gate application from the App Store or the Apple, in both Apple and Android phones. This Gate application, KP Gate application is available. So please do download it from there so that you will be updated with courses that we are coming up with or the mock tests that we are uploading. You can subscribe our channel, YouTube channel. Please go follow our Instagram, Facebook and Telegram channels also. Links will be provided in the description box over here. If you have any doubts, if you want a demo section, or if you have any doubts related to our coaching systems, if you want the study material, mock test, anything, you can fill the form given in the description box. We'll contact you back for the details. So for any help related to geology, we are here to help you. KPK classes are here to help you. So I hope all the details required will be there. Yeah, after 2022 paper, we solved the next 2021 paper will be solved. So that may not require this much explanation. So those papers will discuss much more faster. Without much explanation, we'll discuss. So the questions related to geology will be explained much more thoroughly, because geology revision, that will go as a geology revision also. So after 2022 paper, from the next to next slide, we'll start 2021 paper and we'll go further, like till net examination. We'll be having continuous sections of live classes. So I hope this was help for everyone. Any doubts related to the questions, if you want me to repeat any portions, you can contact in the number given in the description box, or my students. So you have my number, you have it, or you can text in the KPK classes app also. Okay, so let's meet in the next live section. Thank you so much for joining the live over here. Let's meet in the next part. Thank you so much. I am Rukuraju signing off from KPK classes.